Okay, The Siege by Ben Macintyre. Good book here. Read this a couple months ago. I wish I had made this review right after I read it. I'm sorry, I'm going to forget some details, but the main guy that was the team leader, I will just go ahead and tell you I don't know his name, but whoever was the team leader, first of all, this is a story about the Iranian embassy in London that was stormed at the same time, or they're similar to when the Americans were being held hostage in the American embassy in Iran. They thought they were related. The press was all confused for the first day or two, but it really was totally unrelated to everything that was going on with America and Iran at the time. It was just somebody that was a political activist trying to copycat the other embassy sieges to get what they wanted. And the author does a good job explaining what it was that the group wanted. He doesn't make a judgment on whether it was right or wrong, just gives you the circumstances, lets the reader decide, which I love those types of books. So Ben Macintyre, well done. But what I found most compelling about this book was the operations side of it. I really enjoyed getting to read the behind the scenes on the secret, and I'm blanking because it's Friday afternoon and I'm trying to make this quick, but they're basically Delta Force, whatever, SAS, there it is. The SAS in England, which I should be able to spit that out. I love the SAS and all that stuff. But anyway, the guy that ran this squad you can find on YouTube, and they based one of the Call of Duty characters after that guy. And just a legend. And it's got pictures in here. So the story is gripping because it kind of every chapter alternates between the people inside the embassy, the hostages, and then you go to the press side, and then you go to the squadron of the SAS and their perspective, and it kind of takes you through all the different pictures and everything that the author compiled for this book, and gives you every little perspective in the same sequencing and timeline where they all converge at the end, which is just awesome. I love those style of books. But yeah, the operations side I found most fascinating, and also the prime minister at the time, her ideas behind the operation and some of the dialogue that happened regarding it, and the mission to rescue the hostages. And man, it goes great too with YouTube at the same time. By the way, I read this at the same time the U.S. was striking the nuclear facilities in Iran and Khomeini, because this whole issue, matter of fact, was in the storming of this was when the Islamics took over the government in Iran in the Iranian Revolution. This person was protesting all of that, and it was Khomeini at the time. And now Khomeini is still in power, and the U.S. is bombing him. So I was reading him at the same time, and it's literally the same guy 30 years later that we're talking about in this book, which was kind of timely. But all that to say, it was a great book. If you like books that are sort of thrillers and are nonfiction and go through all the different perspectives converging at one time, is a really great operation. And one that I hadn't heard about, sort of not talked about, but it was when the SAS sort of became famous. It's sort of like the Navy SEALs did in America about a decade ago, when you didn't know much about them, and then all of a sudden we have this secret, assassin hit squad. That's kind of what the SAS was at this time, and they were broadcast on BBC breaking in, and people were like, who are these guys? So that element of it was really, really interesting to me, and the response. And then, of course, it gives a follow-up at the end of one of the perpetrators that now lives in London and is free, actually, spoiler alert. And you can Google him and look up pictures of him and follow him on Twitter. I think it's just fascinating. There's so much stuff on YouTube. So I would recommend, after you read this book, go to YouTube, watch some of the interviews of the SAS guys about this mission years later. And recently there was somebody on YouTube that put out a big walkthrough of the embassy operation, and it's a great little video, so you got to watch that too. It really gives you a visual for this. But this was my best book of the summer that I read. I really enjoyed this book. It's called The Siege, a 6-day hostage crisis and the daring special forces operation that shocked the world. Ben Macintyre. Yeah, it was really great. Highly recommend. Hope you pick it up.